What's happening, my fellow culinary enthusiasts? I'm Josh with Emerald Coast Chefs, and today is all about shrimp cocktail. More specifically, how to create the perfect shrimp cocktail. Such a classic dish that you find anywhere from Mexican diners and secluded beach bars all the way up to five-star resorts and Michelin restaurants. And today, if you stick around, I'm going to show you how we turn these into this. So shrimp cocktail, such a wonderfully diverse dish, simple, elegant. One of my favorite things about shrimp cocktail is that you can make it ahead of time. So if you're hosting a party tomorrow, this is a great dish. Typically, it keeps somewhere around 3 days or so in your refrigerator before you start to really see any quality deterioration with that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that we need to do is peel and devein our shrimp. Now, I've got these these are royal reds. I consider these the creme de la creme of shrimp. Now, I personally think royal reds are the best shrimp found anywhere in the world. They are the sweetest, most tender, really good flavor. My second favorite is probably the rock shrimp up around British Columbia. So before we can cook these, we're going to need to get these peeled and deveined. So I'm going to start by just removing the head from the body. And there's a ton of flavor in the heads and shells, so definitely do not throw these away. What I like to do is just kind of save them, toss them in the freezer, and then you can make a stock or a sauce out of them. And what I'm actually going to show you how to do today is we're just going to use these to flavor the water that we poached the shrimp in, to add a little bit of fortification behind the flavor profiles there. So once we remove the head, I like to just kind of leave this last little knuckle attached here. And we're going to need to devein these. So we'll just take a paring knife and you're just going to make a slit all the way down the center, and then we're going to pull out that digestive tract and discard that. We'll come right back and I'll show you how to poach these in the liquid. All right, so in this stock pot, what I've got here is about 4 quarts of water I went ahead and added the heads and the shells from the shrimp that we peeled, just again to fortify that extra flavor in our liquid, as well as I've got an orange, a lemon, and a lime in there just to put some nice citrus flavors, probably somewhere around 1/3 of a cup of kosher salt. And then I actually added some seasoned salt and some Old Bay on top of that. So what I'm looking for when I am tasting the water is I want this about 3 to 4 times more salty than if I were going to sit down and eat a bowl of soup or sauce or something like that, because we are actually using this liquid to impart flavor into the shrimp. In classic French cooking, a liquid that we would use to poach fish or shellfish is referred to as a court bouillon. So that's essentially what we're making here, is a court bouillon. Once this comes up to a boil, I'll take a strainer, go ahead and pull the citrus and the shrimp and the shells back out of that, and then we can add our shrimp. All right, so to go ahead and pull these shells back out of our liquid, you can use any variety of straining device that you have around, just whatever suits you. And of course here I want to pull out the shells and the citrus, the bay leaves and all of that, but leave as much of the liquid as possible. All right, so I've got my shells and citrus strained back out of the water, and at this point, I am going to go ahead and turn my water off. Now, what I'm going to do here is going to be applicable to pretty much all shrimp. However, these royal reds are specifically very delicate. So as you can see, A lot of people think that these are actually already cooked because they have this bright, vibrant red that they are naturally. So with these being so much more delicate than, say, brown shrimp or pink shrimp, that means that they overcook a lot easier than other types of shrimp. So a lot of times we're going to see these just sauteed in butter. Sometimes people won't even boil them. It's not that you can't, but you must use the right technique in order for these to not turn to mush, which is what I'm about to show you right now. So our water was just simmering. I have turned it off. And what we need is for these shrimp to cook to only 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So think about this. Every second past the exact moment that they're done, and every degree that we go above 146, we're essentially overcooking the shrimp. So this is going to be a very quick process. What I did was turn the water off for the purposes of slowing that process down. And the reason for that is the longer my shrimp are in this liquid, the more of the seasoning and the flavor they're going to absorb. However, they're of course going to continue to cook. So if I have this at a full rolling boil, it's probably only going to take about 45 seconds. Plus, they're going to be very hot when I pull them out, so it's going to be hard to get them chilled down before they overcook. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these into the liquid. They're going to be in here probably somewhere around 3 minutes. And then I'm going to pull them out and put them on a sheet pan. And we're going to just flash them in the freezer for about 10 to 12 minutes just to shock them and get the cooking to stop. Okay, so we've got these removed from the water. And we just want to make sure that these are spread out nice and even, obviously in a single layer, not stacked on top of each other. I'm going to flash these in the freezer real quick, and then we'll get them chilled down in the refrigerator while I show you how to make cocktail sauce. So one of the things that I get asked a lot about is, wow, what did you do to that cocktail sauce? How did you make that? Now, making cocktail sauce is very simple. There are just a few key little small things that I want to show you that will make a huge, huge difference. So today we're going to put together a little sauce, and one of the things that I like to do starting out is I use a chili sauce instead of ketchup. It's not quite as sweet, and it's got a little bit more of that kind of zesty flavor profile behind it. And so I found using the chili sauce produces a better product than using ketchup does. Probably most of the seafood restaurants you eat at also do the same thing. So I've got a couple of jars of chili sauce in here. Now, you can decide how spicy you want this to be. This is just prepared horseradish. What prepared horseradish is, usually it's just fresh horseradish root that is grated and mixed with a little salt and distilled white vinegar. If you tend to like foods really spicy, you can certainly add quite a bit of horseradish. But one thing I will caution you on, there is more than just heat going on. So obviously horseradish kind of has its own flavor profile. And if we add too much horseradish in here, it's going to be too bitter. So I recommend if you're trying to make a really spicy cocktail sauce, you can add a little bit of your favorite hot sauce, but also that has vinegar in it. So you're going to be adding some other flavors there. Probably just straight cayenne pepper is what you're looking for. Generally, I see people try to make it really spicy. And what happens is with that much horseradish in there, the bitterness is too overpowering. So I recommend that you make up the difference with dried cayenne pepper for that. And then we're going to go ahead. This is what is going to give this a lot of the freshness. That really bright pop of acid on the front end is the fresh squeezed lemon juice. Do use fresh squeezed lemon juice in that. Do not use the bottled stuff in your refrigerator. I promise it makes a giant difference. So you want to make sure that you're using fresh squeezed lemon juice here. And a couple of lemons should do the trick. And as I'm squeezing lemons, most of the bright citrus, the sharpness, that is all in the front of that juice. Most of the bitterness is actually in the oils along the rind in this white part. So typically when I'm squeezing fresh lemon juice into something, and this actually goes with any citrus, by the way, but when we're squeezing citrus in, I try to take that, I could still get one more squeeze out of it, but that last squeeze is going to be more bitter than that bright sharpness. So I avoid the very last squeeze out of all of that. Okay. Actually, my little citrus squeezer here had a couple of holes in it and let a couple of seed halves through. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those guys out. Then we're going to add Worcestershire. Now, I will say for pretty much anything that you are using Worcestershire sauce in, make sure it's a good quality. It's not the ingredient to go with the store label on. So now we could go ahead and just whisk this up and serve it just like it is. This is a pretty standard cocktail sauce. One of the things that I like to do just a little bit different, this I found is a good medium between not taking it too far away from what people are expecting with a cocktail sauce that they know and love, but also doing something a little bit different and kind of showing them some maybe flavor profiles that they haven't seen before. So what I have here is actually just a little bit of liquid smoke, maybe tablespoon and a half or so. And you just want that smoky profile in the background, not at the forefront. We're not trying to turn this into KC masterpiece style sauce. We just want a little bit of that smoky flavor in the background. And then I've got some of these beautiful fresh chives out of the garden here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these pretty fine and drop them into our sauce. All right, so we're just going to let this come together. This is something that will be substantially better the day after you make it than the day that you make it. So I highly advise that if you're making this for a party or a get together, that you make it the day before and just let it come together in your fridge. Oh, perfect. All right, so our shrimp are chilled down. We have our sauce put together. So what I've got here in this martini glass is just a little bit of some organic baby arugula. And I'm just going to add our sauce in here. All right, and then just going to place our shrimp around the rim. And we'll get a little lemon garnish. Just do like a little wheel here. And royal red shrimp cocktail. Fabulous. Well guys, thanks so much for stopping by the channel today. If you got something out of this video, do me a favor, go ahead and click that like, click the bell so that you get notifications. We're gonna be releasing videos weekly coming out. If you hated it and think I suck, feel free to leave hater comments. The algorithm doesn't know the difference anyway. Appreciate you guys, see you back soon, thanks.